There's a bottle of plain yellow mustard sitting on my smoker cart right now out by the pit, next to the tongs and the towel. It is the same squeeze bottle you would put on a hot dog at a Friday night ball game. About $1.50 at any grocery store in Texas. That is $1.50, not $12, and the difference is going to matter in a minute. That bottle has ridden on that cart through every brisket, every rack of ribs, and every pork shoulder I have cooked for 30 years. And I will tell you something that surprises folks every single time they stand at my pit. Besides the fire and the post oak, that little yellow bottle might be the most useful tool I own, not for flavor, for 10 jobs most backyard cooks have never heard of. And today I am counting down all 10. Stay with me to number 1, because it is the strangest of the bunch. You can paint a whole 12-pound brisket yellow with that mustard, and 12 hours later, you will not taste one single drop of it. That is not luck. That is one specific thing the heat and the smoke do to what is inside that bottle. And nobody at the barbecue store ever explains it. I'm Travis Kolbe, but everybody's called me Tiny since the 7th grade, and I've been growing into the joke ever since. I'm 3rd generation Caldwell County, Texas, just down the road from Lockhart. My grandpa ran Kolbe's meat market in our town and smoked briskets out back the old German way, salt, pepper, post oak, and patience. And I've been feeding folks off my own pit for better than 30 years. Ribbons and ruined briskets both. Now just about every fella I cook with keeps his yellow mustard in the refrigerator door and never once carries it out to the smoker. The barbecue aisle is real happy about that because they will gladly sell you a $12 bottle of something labeled binder that does the same job worse. My grandpa never bought a binder in his life. The market men had yellow mustard on the shelf, and that was the whole secret. So let's count them down 10 to 1, and I'd keep a pencil handy. Number 10. It holds your rub exactly where you put it. A fresh brisket straight off the butcher paper is wet and slick, and dry rub slides off wet meat the way sand slides off glass. You end up with seasoning on the cutting board instead of on your dinner, so do it the meat market way. Pat the brisket dry with a paper towel. Squeeze a line of yellow mustard down the middle. Now spread it thin with your hand, and I mean thin. Thin enough that you can still see the meat through the yellow. Then season on top of that. The mustard works like primer under paint. Every grain of salt and pepper sticks where it lands and stays there through the whole cook. No bald patches, no rub piled up in the low spots. That is the job the $12 bottles are selling you, and the $1.50 bottle has been doing it since before I was born. And if that yellow color has you nervous about the taste, hold that thought. The reason you will never taste it is waiting down at number 1, and it is my favorite piece of meat market knowledge in this whole list. Now, every one of these tricks comes straight out of a book I put together called the Texas BBQ Bible. It's 101 pit-tested secrets from 3 generations of Caldwell County meat market smoking, written out plain for the backyard cook, so you never ruin another brisket as long as you live, and it does not matter one bit what you cook on, offset, kettle, or pellet, because the book teaches your fire the same patient way on all 3. It's $17 right now, marked down from $47. And I'll give you the honest math the way I'd give it to a neighbor. One ruined $80 brisket costs more than 4 of these books put together. It pays for itself the first weekend you use it. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, wipe your hands because number 9 is the one that saves you real money. Number 9, it is the cheapest tool at your whole pit. That squeeze bottle runs about $1.50, and one bottle will slather somewhere around 15 briskets before it runs dry. Set that against the fancy binders the olive oil folks pour on by the half cup, the specialty slathers in the little jars. I watched a fella at a county cook-off spend $19 on a jar of binder about the size of a coffee cup. And bless his heart, his bark came out no better than mine. The old market men were thrifty because they had to be. Nothing went on the meat that did not earn its place, and nothing earned its place cheaper than yellow mustard. Technique over equipment, friends. That rule has never once let me down. Number 8. The yellow shows you your own work. This one sounds simple, and it saves more briskets than you would believe. When you spread that thin yellow coat, you can see exactly where you have been and where you have not, the same way a painter sees his primer. Bare meat shows through his red, covered meat shows pale yellow, and there is no guessing. That means your salt goes on even, your pepper goes on even, and you never pull a brisket off the pit with one gorgeous end and one bald, sad corner. An even coat going on is an even bark coming off. Grandpa checked his slathers in the morning light outside the market before a single stick of post oak went on the fire. Number 7, smoke sticks to it. Post oak smoke does not soak into meat like gravy into a biscuit. Those little smoke particles have to land on the surface and grab hold, and they grab a damp, tacky surface far better than a dry one. A thin mustard slather keeps that surface tacky through the first hours of the cook, which is exactly when the meat takes on the deepest smoke color and flavor. That is part of how you get that dark mahogany crust rolling out of thin blue smoke. The smoke ring don't lie, and the mustard is quietly helping it along the whole time. Number 6, it patches mistakes in the middle of a cook. Sooner or later, you will drag a pork shoulder against the grate or spritz too hard, and a patch of rub will slide right off. Do not panic and do not start over. Spoon a little mustard onto a clean plate first so your bottle never touches raw meat. Dab the bare spot with the back of the spoon. Dust your rub back over it. Close the lid and walk away. An hour later, that patch has caught up with the rest, and nobody at your table will ever know. I learned that repair at 2 in the morning on a church fundraiser brisket, and it has saved me more times than I can count. Number 5, it works on every pit and every cut you own. Offset barrel pit like my grandpa's, backyard kettle, pellet grill on the patio. The mustard does not care because the fire's the fire. Brisket, pork shoulder, spare ribs, whole chicken, it slathers the same on all of them. Just remember the numbers that matter because temperatures are sacred at my pit. Pork shoulder and brisket ride until they probe tender, usually around 203 degrees inside. That is 203. Chicken comes off at 165 degrees internal, 165 every single time, no exceptions and no guessing. The mustard helps every one of those cooks, and we are getting closer to the reason it never once shows up in the flavor. Number 4, it makes a 60-second finishing sauce. Say your people want a little something on the side, and in my house, Jolene and the boys usually do. Take 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard. Add a 1/4 cup of the drippings out of your foil or your pan. Add a splash of vinegar and a spoon of brown sugar. Stir it warm and set it on the table in a little bowl. That is a plain Texas mop sauce, made from things already at the pit, and it costs you nothing. Sauce stays on the side at my table because a good brisket does not need anything to hide behind, but a homemade sauce beats a store bottle 7 days a week. Number 3, it builds a better looking bark. Bark is that dark, crusty coat on the outside of a proper brisket, and it forms when the rub, The surface moisture and the smoke all cook down together into a crust. That thin mustard layer feeds the process. It holds moisture at the surface just long enough. It holds the rub in one even sheet, and the little bit of turmeric that gives yellow mustard its color melts into the crust and deepens that mahogany shade. You're not tasting turmeric any more than you taste the mustard. You're just getting a bark that looks like it came out of an old Lockhart meat market instead of a microwave. Number 2, it tames slick poultry skin. Chicken and turkey skin is the slickest surface in barbecue, and rub falls off of it worse than off a wet brisket. A whisper-thin coat of mustard fixes it. Pat the bird dry. Spread the mustard thinner than you think you need. Season over the top. Now your seasoning rides the skin all the way to 165 degrees inside, 165, and it comes out golden and even instead of blotchy. And with that, we are standing right at the door of the answer I promised you at the start. Number 1. The reason you never taste it and what it is secretly doing for your meat the whole time. Pick up that bottle and read it. Plain yellow mustard is mostly water and vinegar with ground mustard seed and a pinch of turmeric. Now that sharp mustard bite you know from a hot dog comes from delicate compounds in the mustard seed, and those compounds are fragile. They cannot survive the pit. In the first hour at 250 degrees, that is 250 at the grate, the heat and the smoke drive them right off into the air, gone before the stall ever starts. What stays behind is the quiet worker, the vinegar. Vinegar is a mild acid, and the minute that slather touches your brisket, it goes to work loosening the proteins right at the surface of the meat. Not deep, just the outside layer, which happens to be exactly where bark forms. That softened surface is why a mustard slathered brisket gives you a bark that is crisp on the outside and tender to the bite, instead of tough as an old boot heel, and it is why your rub flavors settle in so even. The tenderizing starts the moment the mustard goes on, and the mustard flavor itself is long gone by dinner. The old market men could not have drawn you the chemistry, but they watched the results for 50 years. And Grandpa always said, the brisket's done when it's done. And a mustard slather never once got in its way. And that right there is meat market knowledge my grandpa handed me for free. There's 101 pieces of knowledge just like it in the Texas BBQ Bible, written out plain, so you never ruin another brisket as long as you live, on offset, kettle, or pellet alike. It's $17. Down from $47, which is less than the burnt end of one wasted brisket. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up. Give it a tap and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So there sits that $1.50 bottle, same as it sat at the start of this video, except now you know it binds your rub, saves your money, evens your seasoning, grabs your smoke, patches your mistakes, works on any pit, stirs into a sauce, deepens your bark, tames slick skin, and tenderizes the surface while its own flavor rides off with the smoke. Tell me in the comments what state you're smoking in and what's going on in your pit this weekend. I read every single one. And next time, I am fixing to show you why the old market men spritz their briskets with nothing but plain water, and why that fancy apple juice in your spray bottle might be the very thing softening up the bark you worked so hard to build. Keep your fire low and your stitches tight, and I'll see y'all next time.